They move with. The journey to achieving anything meaningful in life begins with having a clear, specific, and unwavering sense of purpose. Move with. When Napoleon Hill wrote about the principles of success, he placed definiteness of purpose at the very foundation. Without it, no amount of hard work, talent, or ambition will ever lead to lasting success. It is this clarity of vision, this focused intention, that gives direction to your efforts and organizes your energy. They move with. Think of definiteness of purpose as the compass that steers your actions and decisions, guiding you through distractions, challenges. They move with. And uncertainties toward your intended destination. When people wander through life without knowing exactly what they want, they move with. They often find themselves stuck in routines that yield minimal progress. They drift, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping them. They move with. Hill observed that the majority of people live their lives in quiet frustration, not because they lack ability, but because they lack direction. When you are definite in your purpose, you stop reacting and start creating. You become intentional. Every action, every choice, they move with. And every relationship becomes filtered through the lens of whether or not it moves you closer to your goal. Having a definite purpose means choosing one central goal, one that becomes the focal point of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. They move with. It becomes the dominant desire of your heart. This goal is not vague, such as, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy, but precise and measurable, such as I will earn $100, $1,000 a year by doing meaningful work in my chosen industry, or I will become a top-performing athlete in my field by the age of 30. Clarity eliminates confusion. They move with. Once you define your goal, your subconscious mind begins to align with that vision, often working behind the scenes to lead you to people, opportunities, and ideas that support your purpose. This level of focus also builds inner conviction. A clear purpose fuels motivation, especially when challenges arise. Without a definite purpose, it's easy to become discouraged or distracted. Every time you face a setback, they move with. You may question whether it's worth continuing. But when your purpose is clearly defined and deeply meaningful to you, obstacles become stepping stones. You recognize them not as barriers, but as necessary parts of the process. You begin to expect resistance, but you meet it with resilience. Moreover, definiteness of purpose creates mental discipline. It simplifies decisions. They move with. When you are definite in what you want, you stop saying yes to things that don't serve your purpose. They move with. You become more aware of time and how you spend it. You prioritize effectively. Move with. You cut out unnecessary activities and relationships that drain your energy or pull you in the wrong direction. They move with. This kind of discipline frees up mental space and emotional energy, allowing you to go all in on what truly matters. They move with. Napoleon Hill also linked definiteness of purpose with what he called burning desire. It's not enough to just know what you want. You must want it with intensity. You must be willing to sacrifice for it, to work for it day after day, even when there are no immediate rewards. They move with. A burning desire transforms your purpose from a wish into an obsession. This emotional intensity is what sustains effort over time. They move with. It's what compels you to keep going when you're tired, when you fail, and when the results aren't showing up as fast as you hoped. They move with. Definiteness of purpose also aligns with the laws of attraction and intention. Hill believed that thoughts are powerful forces that attract similar energies. They move with. When your purpose is clear and you hold it in your mind with emotion and repetition, they move with. You begin to attract circumstances and people that support its realization. This doesn't mean you can just wish your goals into existence. They move with. But it does mean that the clearer your vision, the more your actions and the universe begin to conspire in your favor. They move with. One of the biggest advantages of having a definite purpose is that it creates momentum. The hardest part of any goal is often just getting started. When your purpose is strong and vivid, taking action becomes less of a chore and more of a necessity. You wake up each day with a sense of direction. You don't wait for motivation because your purpose becomes the motivator. And as you take action, even small steps, you build confidence. They move with. You start to see progress, and that progress feeds back into your desire to keep moving forward. Definiteness of purpose also fosters leadership. They move with. People are naturally drawn to those who know where they're going. When you operate with purpose, you inspire trust and respect. Whether in business, they move with, relationships, or personal growth, having a clear vision allows others to align with you. They move with, they see your clarity, and are more willing to support your mission. You become the kind of person who sets standards, makes decisions quickly, and remains focused even when others waver. This is the hallmark of all great leaders throughout history. They knew exactly what they wanted, and were willing to devote themselves fully to that aim. It's also important to note that definiteness of purpose doesn't mean being inflexible. As you grow, your goals may evolve. New information they move with, new opportunities, and new experiences may shape a more refined version of your original purpose. That's okay. They move with. What matters is that you remain intentional. Even when your direction changes, your commitment to living with purpose must remain firm. They move with flexibility with method, but firmness of purpose. That's the balance that leads to lasting fulfillment. One practical strategy Hill suggested was to write down your definite major purpose and read it aloud to yourself twice daily, once in the morning and once at night. This practice, rooted in repetition and affirmation, helps reinforce the goal in your subconscious mind. Over time, this daily ritual builds belief. They move with, and belief creates behavior. You begin to act in ways that reflect your purpose, often without conscious effort. They move mind becomes a magnet for the resources and solutions needed to bring your vision to life. Finally, definiteness of purpose gives life meaning. It provides a reason to wake up, to push through pain, and to strive for excellence. It transforms ordinary existence into a mission. They move with. When you know what you want and why you want it, you live with passion. You stop merely surviving and begin thriving. A move with every day becomes an opportunity to move closer to your dream. In a world full of noise, distractions, and aimless wandering, the definiteness of purpose is a superpower. It sets you apart. It gives you strength, clarity, and momentum. Napoleon Hill didn't just teach this principle. He proved it through countless stories of successful people who had nothing but a burning purpose and a relentless will. They move. That's where true transformation begins. Not with luck or talent they move with, but with a clear decision about what you want and the determination to pursue it without apology or hesitation. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It is the silent partner that quietly works in the background, molding your thoughts. They move with, shaping your actions, and transforming your intentions into reality. Napoleon Hill believed that without discipline, even the clearest vision of success would remain a dream. It is easy to become enthusiastic about a goal in the beginning, but sustaining the energy, focus, and consistency needed to bring that goal to life requires daily discipline. They move with. The difference between those who merely wish for success and those who actually achieve it often comes down to the quality of their habits. Habits are the building blocks of any meaningful transformation. They form the invisible structure that either supports your vision or undermines it. If your habits are not aligned with your goals, you will constantly feel resistance. You may feel stuck, frustrated, or demotivated, not because your goal is unrealistic, but because your lifestyle is out of sync with what you claim to want. Discipline requires you to bring your actions into alignment with your desired outcomes. It's not about grand gestures, but about doing the small things with consistency, especially when you don't feel like it. Many people struggle because they rely on motivation to act. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on your mood, your environment, and external factors. Discipline, however, is rooted in commitment. It shows up when motivation disappears. It's the voice inside you that says, I will do this anyway. That kind of self-governance is what allows you to rise early when you're tired. To push through discomfort when you'd rather quit, and to stay focused when distractions are tempting you to give in. Discipline makes the difference between a wish and a plan, between a dream and a deadline. In Hill's philosophy, successful individuals don't leave their habits to chance. They deliberately choose routines that support their growth. They control their thoughts, master their time, and take personal responsibility for their behavior. This begins with awareness. You have to become conscious of how you're spending your time, what you're consuming mentally and physically, and how your choices are affecting your trajectory. Without awareness, you may fall into patterns of procrastination, distraction, or indulgence that slowly sabotage your efforts. Discipline helps you break those cycles and replace them with intentional action. The mind is a creature of habit. If you consistently practice certain behaviors, whether productive or destructive, they will become automatic. This is why it's so critical to be intentional about your routines. If your goal is to build a business, then your daily habits must reflect focus, planning, networking, and execution. If your goal is to improve your health, your habits must reflect exercise, nutrition, rest, and recovery. There is no shortcut. The discipline to do the right things repeatedly, over time, builds the foundation for lasting success. One of the most powerful ways to discipline your habits is to create a structured schedule. Time, once lost, can never be regained. Successful people guard their time fiercely. They don't just let the day happen to them. They plan it. They start with priorities, not distractions. They allocate blocks of time to tasks that move them closer to their goals, and eliminate or reduce time spent on activities that don't serve them. By doing this, they train their minds to focus, to resist impulsive behavior, and to value consistency over chaos. Discipline is also about managing emotions. Many people make decisions based on how they feel in the moment, and this can be a trap. You may not feel like working out, writing, studying, or showing up. But if your habits are tied to your emotions, your performance will be erratic. Discipline teaches you to act based on commitment, not feelings. It gives you the power to delay gratification, to say no to temptations, and to endure short-term discomfort for long-term rewards. It's not always easy, but it is always worth it. Accountability is another key factor. Discipline thrives in environments where results are measured. Keep a journal, track your progress. Or share your goals with someone who will hold you accountable. This creates a feedback loop that strengthens your resolve. When you see progress, even small wins, your confidence grows. That confidence reinforces the habit, and the habit reinforces your identity. Over time, you stop seeing discipline as a punishment or sacrifice. You begin to see it as freedom. The freedom to choose your destiny rather than be controlled by circumstances. There will be days when you slip. When you fall short, or when you feel overwhelmed. Discipline doesn't mean perfection. It means persistence. What matters is not whether you make mistakes, but how quickly you return to your path. A disciplined person doesn't wait for the perfect mood or the perfect conditions. They get back up and try again. This ability to reset quickly is what sets achievers apart. They don't waste energy on guilt or self-pity. They recognize that setbacks are part of the process, and they use them as fuel to grow stronger. Hill emphasized that no one is born disciplined. They move with. It is a learned behavior, a habit that is cultivated through repetition and reinforced by results. They move with. You start small, waking up at the same time every day, finishing what you start, making your bed, setting goals the night before. They move with, or avoiding mindless scrolling on your phone. These little acts of discipline build mental strength. Over time, they become part of who you are. They move with. And when you identify as someone who is disciplined, your choices begin to reflect that belief without effort. They move with. There's also an emotional benefit to discipline that is often overlooked. Peace of mind. When your habits are aligned with your values and goals, they move with. You experience a sense of inner integrity. You trust yourself. You don't feel guilty about wasting time or neglecting your potential. Move with. You sleep better. You feel more productive. And you carry a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are doing the work. This mental clarity is priceless in a world filled with noise, distraction, and comparison. It's worth remembering that discipline is not deprivation. They move. It's not about living a joyless, rigid life. It's about making empowered choices. It's about choosing what you want most over what you want now. They move with. It's about valuing your future more than fleeting pleasures. When you discipline your habits, you don't become less free. You become more focused, more energized, and more in control of your life. Ultimately, disciplining your daily habits is an act of self-respect. It is a way of saying, they move with, I believe in my potential, and I'm willing to act like it. Hill's philosophy was rooted in this kind of personal responsibility. He taught that such success is not given, it's earned, through consistent, disciplined action in the direction of your goals. That discipline, practiced daily, becomes the silent force that shapes your life into the vision you once only imagined. They move with. Taking full responsibility for your progress is one of the most transformative shifts you can make in your personal journey toward achieving your goals. They move with. It means moving away from the mindset that external conditions, other people, or circumstances determine your success, and instead recognizing that you are the ultimate creator of your outcomes. Excuses are the mental blocks that keep people stuck. They feel justified. They may even sound rational, but they are nothing more than delays dressed in logic. When you eliminate excuses, they move with. You remove the hidden barriers that stand between you and your highest potential. Napoleon Hill's teachings revolve around personal accountability. They move with. He made it clear that those who accomplish extraordinary things do so not because they had it easy, or because everything went their way, but because they refused to blame anyone or anything for their setbacks. They decided, regardless of external chaos, that they would rise. They move with. Taking ownership begins with your mindset. If you see yourself as a victim of your environment, you'll constantly look for scapegoats. If you see yourself as the architect of your life, you'll look for solutions. They move with. The choice between those two perspectives determines the trajectory of your growth. Every excuse is a form of self-sabotage. It may seem harmless to say, "I didn't have enough time," or "I wasn't in the mood." But underneath those words lies a deeper issue: resistance. Resistance to discipline. Resistance to discomfort. Resistance to the truth. When you take full responsibility, they move with. You stop trying to protect your ego with justifications and start confronting the gap between where you are and where you want to be. They move with. This confrontation can be uncomfortable, but it is the birthplace of growth. They move with. One of the most common excuses people make is that the timing isn't right. They're waiting for the perfect day, the perfect mood, the perfect opportunity. But the truth is, perfect conditions rarely exist. Those who succeed don't wait. They act. They understand that momentum comes from doing, not waiting. By taking consistent steps forward, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable, they build strength, resilience, and clarity. They move with. Waiting for the stars to align is just another form of procrastination dressed in the illusion of patience. Another popular excuse is blaming other people. Move with. My boss doesn't support me. My family doesn't believe in me. No one gave me a chance. While it's true that external factors can influence your environment, they don't control your response. Countless people have overcome difficult family dynamics, toxic workplaces, or lack of support to achieve greatness. They move with. The difference lies in how they interpreted those challenges. Did they use them as fuel or as a reason to stop? When you take full responsibility, they move with. You stop handing your power over to others. You reclaim your ability to direct your life, regardless of who is or isn't cheering you on. There's also the excuse of past failures. Many people are haunted by mistakes, setbacks, or decisions they regret. They move with. They carry the weight of these memories and use them as reasons not to try again. But the past only has as much power as you give it with. Every failure holds a lesson, and those who take responsibility for their past are able to extract wisdom instead of shame. They move with. They don't allow previous chapters to define future ones. They acknowledge what went wrong, learn from it, and apply that insight to move forward. Blame fixes you in place. Responsibility liberates you. Taking full responsibility also involves being brutally honest with yourself. This means asking hard questions. Am I really doing my best? Am I consistent, or only motivated when it's easy? Am I prioritizing what matters, or just staying busy? This level of introspection requires courage. It's easier to point fingers than to look in the mirror. They move with. But the mirror is where transformation begins. It's where you recognize patterns of avoidance, emotional triggers, and limiting beliefs. Responsibility doesn't just change your actions. It changes your identity. When you commit to eliminating excuses, you develop mental toughness. They move with. Life will test you with delays, rejections, and uncertainty. If you've built your mindset on accountability, they move with. Those tests won't break you. They'll sharpen you. You'll become the kind of person who doesn't fold under pressure, who adapts. Move with. Who pivots when needed, and who always finds a way. This self-reliance becomes a powerful source of confidence. You stop needing validation from others because you trust your own ability to figure things out. Taking responsibility also enhances your relationships. They move with. When you stop blaming others, you foster a sense of integrity and maturity. People respect those who own their flaws, admit when they're wrong, and work on themselves without projecting blame. It builds credibility and leadership. In contrast, when you constantly blame others, they move with. You create defensiveness and distance. True leadership, whether in business, relationships, they move with, or personal growth, starts with the willingness to say, "This is on me." Another benefit of this mindset is increased clarity. They move with. Excuses create mental clutter. They cloud your judgment and obscure the real issues. when you stop making excuses. You're forced to identify what's actually holding you back. Is it fear, lack of skill, poor time management? By facing the real problem they move with, you can develop effective strategies. You stop wasting energy on defensiveness and redirect it toward progress they move with. This clarity accelerates your growth because you're working on the root, not the symptoms. Of course, taking responsibility doesn't mean being harsh with yourself. It means being empowered. There's a big difference between blame and ownership they move with. Blame shames you, ownership inspires you. When you take responsibility, you're not saying, "I'm a failure." You're saying, they move with, "I have the power to improve." That shift in language transforms your internal dialogue. You begin to speak to yourself not with defeat, but with determination. You begin to see setbacks as feedback, not failure. To internalize this principle, practice daily reflection. At the end of each day, ask yourself, what did I do today to move toward my goal they move with? What excuses did I make? What could I have done differently? Over time, this habit rewires your thinking. You become more aware of subtle patterns of avoidance. You begin catching yourself in the moment, before the excuse takes hold. This self-awareness is the gateway to lasting change. Remember that everyone struggles. Even the most successful people have doubts, fears, and moments of weakness. The difference is that they don't let those moments define them. They don't outsource their results to external forces. Move with, they take the reins again and again, no matter how many times they fall. That persistence is born from responsibility they move with. It's the deep understanding that you may not control everything, but you always control your effort, your attitude, and your response they move with. By eliminating excuses and taking full ownership of your path, you unlock a deeper level of potential they move with. You stop negotiating with your goals and start pursuing them with urgency they move with. You stop waiting for someone else to fix your life and start building the life you were meant to live they move with. Napoleon Hill didn't promise that the path would be easy. He promised that it'd be worth it, if you were willing to claim it as your own. They move with. Discipline and self-control are not traits that people are born with. They are forged through consistent action, hard decisions they move with, and a commitment to long-term growth. When you make the decision to develop relentless discipline they move with, you're taking a stand against the part of you that seeks comfort, convenience, and short-term gratification they move with. You're telling yourself that your vision, your purpose, and your potential are more important than fleeting pleasures or emotional impulses they move with. Discipline isn't just about doing hard things. It's about doing the right things, even when they're hard. Napoleon Hill emphasized repeatedly that the ability to control your thoughts and direct your actions toward a definite purpose is the foundation of all success they move with. You can have talent, intelligence, and even resources, but without discipline, none of it will take root they move with. Discipline is what transforms good intentions into actual achievements. It's what allows you to stay on track when motivation fades. They move with when life gets messy and when your mind tries to negotiate you out of doing what must be done. Self-control is the steering wheel of the mind. They move with. Without it, you're a passenger in your own life, reacting instead of creating. True discipline begins with clarity. They move with. You have to know exactly what you want and why you want it. When you lack clarity, it's easy to get distracted, to drift, to waste time and energy on things that don't matter. But when your goals are sharp, when your purpose is locked in, you gain a filter. Move with. Every decision becomes simpler. Does this move me closer to my goal, or does it pull me further away? Discipline thrives in simplicity. They move with. It doesn't require perfection. It requires repetition, consistency, and alignment with your highest priorities. The reason most people fail to stay disciplined is that they rely on feelings. They wait to feel motivated, to feel inspired, to feel ready. They move with. But discipline doesn't wait for emotion. It creates its own energy through action. On the days when you're tired, they move with. When you don't feel like working, when you're tempted to slack off, that's when discipline matters most. Those moments where you choose to act anyway are the building blocks of mental toughness. Every time you honor your commitment, even in discomfort, they move with. You reinforce your belief in yourself. Self-control, closely tied to discipline, is about mastering impulses. It's about recognizing that not every urge, distraction, or desire needs to be acted upon. In a world filled with constant stimulation, social media, fast food, digital entertainment, self-control becomes your shield against mediocrity. They move with. It allows you to say no to what feels good now, so you can say yes to what feels incredible later. They move with. Every time you resist an unhealthy temptation or a distraction, you strengthen your willpower. Willpower is like a muscle egg. The more you use it, they move with, the stronger it gets. Developing relentless discipline also means creating systems and routines that support your goals. They move with. You can't rely on willpower alone. Your environment must work with you, not against you. Set clear boundaries with your time. Eliminate unnecessary decisions that drain your mental energy. Schedule your day with intention. Protect your mornings, your energy. They move with, and your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. When you automate success through routines, you make discipline easier and more sustainable. Another critical aspect of discipline is the ability to delay gratification. Most people are addicted to immediacy. They want results now, success now, rewards now. But meaningful achievement takes time. They move with. The person who is willing to wait, to work, and to trust the process will always outperform the person who demands instant results. They move with. Delaying gratification means doing what's hard now so you can enjoy what's great later. They move with. It means skipping that short-term pleasure to gain long-term fulfillment. It's a mindset that says, they move with. I'm not here for quick wins. I'm here for the life I deserve. Discipline also thrives on accountability. When you set a goal, you must hold yourself to a standard that reflects your vision. This means tracking your progress, being honest about your effort, and being willing to correct course when you slip. There will be days when you fall short, days when you procrastinate, mess up, or take the easy way out. That's okay. Discipline is not about never failing. It's about refusing to quit. Get back up, reflect, learn, adjust. They move forward with even more focus. They move with. A powerful way to build self-discipline is through the practice of saying no. Every yes to something unaligned is a no to your vision. Start protecting your time and energy like your life depends on it. Say no to mindless scrolling, to toxic habits, to unproductive conversations, to people who drain your drive. Say no to the easy road, the excuse, the shortcut. Every no creates space for your eyes to grow. This isn't about deprivation. It's about elevation. You're creating room for greatness. Visualization is another tool that sharpens discipline. They move with. When you consistently visualize your goals and imagine yourself succeeding, it becomes easier to stay disciplined. They move with. You remind yourself why you're making sacrifices, why you're staying up late or waking up early, why you're pushing beyond comfort. Move with. When the mind sees the destination clearly, the body becomes more willing to take the journey. The discipline becomes less about forcing yourself and more about aligning your actions with your vision. You also have to learn to enjoy the grind. Many people fail because they only love the results, not the process. But when you fall in love with the daily work, the repetition, the growth they move with, the struggle, you unlock a whole new level of motivation. You stop looking at discipline as punishment and start seeing it as a gift they move with. Discipline gives you structure. It gives you power. It's the reason you can look back a month, 6 months, a year later and say, I built this. I earned this. A discipline and self-control are the antidotes to chaos. Life will always have storms. You can't control everything that happens, but you can control how you show up. With discipline, you stay grounded when others panic. With self-control, you stay focused when others get distracted. You become the calm in the storm, the steady hand, the resilient force that continues to build with a day after day, no matter what life throws at you. Finally, remember that discipline is freedom they move with. It's the freedom to choose your future rather than be a prisoner of your impulses. It's the freedom to say, I will create my life intentionally, not by accident. It's the freedom to rise above the average, the distracted, the excuse makers they move with. When you commit to relentless discipline and unshakable self-control, you are claiming that freedom with every action, every decision, every day they move with. And once you've tasted that kind of freedom, you'll never settle for less again.